Look,
We are.
we are.
Yeah. Oh, look at that background.
You didn't see that I
Oh,
put that in there?
no. How cool is that?
Yeah, I'm acting like I know what I'm doing. Oh,
She's
look, we
getting
are live. I'm
professional.
getting professional. We're live.
Yeah.
So you might be watching this on our Facebook page or my Facebook page, or you might be looking at it on the YouTube channel. If you're on the YouTube channel, before you do anything else, if you wouldn't mind putting in the chat box who you are and where you're from, and hitting the like button, and maybe even if you're feeling extra generous, you'll go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we're just going to start because people I'm sure are going to pop in and then we'll have to repeat ourselves, but oh well, that's what happens.
Yeah.
So I sent you over the questions. Do you actually want me to do this
Yeah.
interview style and ask you these things?
Yeah.
Because I will.
Yeah, and we can kind of discuss each question that you have too, because I'm sure you have some input.
I'm sure that that will come up as we go.
Yeah.
So since I mean everybody on Facebook is going to know who you are, but people out on YouTube don't know who you are. So why don't you explain to everybody who you are and what you do besides read tarot cards?
Uh. Well. Um. I I don't know what I do. No, I'm just kidding.
You are an author, right? I
Yes,
mean,
I am. So I am Bellora Quinn, and I write LGBTQ plus romance books. Um, and I paint, and I am the mother of dachshunds, and I do tarot.
yep.
So, and we
My
picked
cards
tarot
are,
is the most interesting of those topics for tonight.
the dogs are pretty interesting.
Yeah, the dogs are pretty interesting. Eventually, they'll have their own YouTube channel, I'm sure.
Yes, they will, or at least be a part of the other one.
Yeah.
So, what made you pick up tarot decks and start messing with them?
My grandmother.
For real?
Um, yeah, for real. When I was about 7 years old, she had this little deck, and I still have it. It's the same size as like regular playing cards, and it's called the Gypsy Witch
That's my
Tarot.
mother's tarot deck too.
Yep. They were very popular in like the 50s.
Hmm.
And so she gave me that little deck to play with. And then I played with them so much. I think the next, I don't know, I'm not even sure how long. I just remember not long after, having those, that she actually bought me a real tarot deck, um, like an actual deck based on the Rider Waite system. And I don't know what happened to those cards. They wandered out of my possession at some time in my past. But I remember um, playing with those, and then probably when I was about 12 or 13, I started doing readings for other people with them. So that's kind of an unusual start. I don't think, a lot of people really play with tarot that young, or I should say do readings for other people that young. And they were just, cutesy little readings, because when you're a child you really don't know. It's harder to express the meaning of whatever it is that you're getting from the cards, and
Yeah.
the symbolism is more abstract when you're, you know self-taught. um
How old were you when she gave those cards to you?
I remember I was 7 because it was right around my birthday.
You were so little.
I was very little.
Did you
And
have?
like I said, though, I mean, for that time,
Yeah.
7, 8, 9, 10 years, they were a toy to me. They were, it wasn't like I was doing, learning to read at that time. I was just playing with the cards, but I read them. I read the meanings on them,
Yeah.
and I would do like I would get them out and like look at them and read the meanings on them, and I'd hold them in my hands, and I'd close my eyes, and I'd pull out a card and read it and be like, "Oh, that's cool." So I was in a way kind of like doing a daily tarot card way back when without really knowing that's what I was
Yeah.
doing, you know. Um,
And you don't
so
remember what the deck was?
yeah, that was the Gypsy Witch deck.
Or the Gypsy Wish, but I thought the ones that she bought you though, that you like,
I think they might have been the Rider Waite deck,
were they?
or some version of that, because I remember it being very, it was it was similar to that deck. If it wasn't the Rider Waite, it was, based on it.
So it
Um,
wasn't the Hello Kitty deck.
no, no, I never. But that would be cool. I would love a Hello Kitty deck.
Right?
Yeah. The
That
first
would be
deck I
cool.
bought for myself, I was probably in my late teens. Um, and it was called the Witch's Tarot, and it's no longer in print. I can't find it. Not There's other decks called the Witch's Tarot, but it's not that one. And I had that for a long time, and I did readings for a lot of people with that deck, and I still have that deck somewhere, but it's like I said, it's no longer in print, and I don't have the book or the box anymore, so I don't even know who made it. But I used that for a long, long time until I discovered the Robin Wood deck, and that,
Yeah.
yeah, that was my favorite. The Robin Wood deck became my favorite for a very long time. And that was the deck that I used to start doing classes to teach other people the symbolism in the cards, because Robin Wood did such a good job with her book on explaining why certain things were drawn in the pictures that she created, and they were all based on the Rider Waite deck as well. And that's why when I teach tarot, I still use the Robin Wood deck, because it's kind of universal. If you can learn that deck, then you could pick up a Rider Waite deck and read with that, or you could pick up any other tarot deck that's based on the Rider Waite deck and read from it.
So
So
is Robin Wood still your favorite deck then?
no, I still really like that deck, but I use well, right now, the Lightseer deck.
It's my deck.
Yeah, it's just, I love the artwork on it. It's
Yep.
beautiful. Just so I use that one a lot, and there's another, oh, I didn't bring that one out, but there's one called the Everyday Witch's Tarot, and it has a cat in each of the cards.
Oh yeah, that one's really
It's
cool.
it's very cute. So that one I use often for myself and for reading for others, even more so than the Light Seers deck. So yeah, those are my two favorites right now as far as tarot decks go. I also have this deck called the Sacred Forest Oracle, which oracle cards are different than tarot cards. So
Yeah.
that's a different conversation, but that's my favorite oracle deck right now. Is this, and let me see, I'll just pick, this is kind of what that one looks like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the artwork is just
Very
really
pretty.
super pretty on that too.
Yeah. So can anybody use tarot cards?
No. Yes, anybody can use tarot cards. Anybody that wants to learn to use tarot, if anybody tells you that only some people can learn tarot, or you have to go through this class or these precautions before you can do, they're not, there's nobody that is an authority on divination. Like, if they say they are, that is what they call a gatekeeper. They're
So explain
just,
a little bit about a gatekeeper.
yeah. What?
Explain a little bit about that. What is a gatekeeper?
A gatekeeper is someone who claims to be an authority on something and tries to say, only people that are this can do that. Only
Yeah.
people. If you ever read those or see those memes that say only real women, blah, 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 or only real men, blah, 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 that's all gatekeeping. That's what is an unreal person. If they're sitting
Yeah.
across from you, they're real. So if you're trying to say that only real women are this way or that way, you're excluding a whole category of people, and that's not cool.
Yep.
But
No,
I
it's
do
not.
see that. I do see that in with tarot, not so often anymore, but um, I have seen it in the past where people get really kind of like, oh, you got to take this class and spin around 3 times in the full moon or
Yeah.
whatever to protect yourself from whatever they're afraid of.
And that's not even true in the
Yeah.
least because I think I picked mine up when I was in eighth or ninth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a deck my mom had, which is also gone because I became a born again Christian, decided I needed to throw those in a dumpster because they were of Satan.
Oh
And it kills
no.
me because you can't find them anywhere, you know.
Yeah.
And I did pick them
That's
up, and I didn't have any training except for the little book that came with it. And
yeah.
then we just started reading the cards after school. It was a bunch of little girls going to my house and pulling them out, all those
Yeah.
Catholic girls running down the street to
Tiny little mustache.
to um to read tarot. And you know we just did it. No one, like, my mom read regular playing cards, and she had a regular deck that she played solitaire with, and she had this other deck that no one was allowed to touch. Only she could touch them. And she
Yeah.
marked them so that she would know if they were reversed when they came up. I mean, everything. She had little marks in the corners so that if it came up with the corner marked up, she knew that was a reverse card, and that's how she read them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I just kind of watched her. I can't remember shit about my tarot cards. I never can remember what any of them mean. I No matter how many times I look at my deck, I have to pull the book out to see what it says. I don't feel confident in just looking at the images. And no matter how many classes I've been to, and I've been to a lot of them, most
Yeah.
everybody says what you just need to do is just pull the deck out, just look at one or two cards, and just look at the picture on there, and then you're gonna get it. Well, no,
Yeah.
that's
No, you're not. You're never going to learn tarot that way.
nope.
And that's not the way I teach people how to do tarot, because that's the way everybody that does those classes tells people to do it. Just follow your intuition. Well, that is good for learning to trust your intuition, but that is not good for learning to know the meaning, the traditional meanings behind the cards. You're never going to learn it by memory. You
Well,
have
that's
to
a
learn
lazy person's way of teaching it too. That's why.
you have to learn the mnemonics. You have to learn the there's symbols in each of the cards, and
Mhm.
each of those symbols is a memory trick or a mnemonic. So when you look at certain things in the cards, you're not trying to draw up a rote memorization of something, a paragraph you read in a book, because you will never do that. You're never going to learn that way.
Right.
But you can look at something within the card. Um, let's see.
Yeah, that's
I'll find a good one. Okay, so the Ace of Cups, for example.
Yeah.
Now, the Light Seers deck is really different artwork than the traditional
Yeah.
tarot. But when you think of a traditional based on the Rider Waite deck and you think of the Ace of Cups, what comes to your mind? What do you see?
When I see the Ace of
Without,
Cups,
without looking at a deck, just try to remember, what does the card look like?
I remember that card from the Robin Wood deck perfectly.
Okay.
It's the big cup overflowing. It
Hmm.
has the big giant heart on the thing. It's silver and gold.
Right.
Uh, I remember lots of water. There might have been a bird.
There,
There
yep.
might,
There's
yep,
some birds, there's clouds, and there's a hand.
yep, the hand.
Yep. Okay. So it's interesting that you said that you remember seeing the cup overflowing, because that's the mnemonic in that card, is the overflowing water. So when you think of that card, um, cups are uh, connected to emotions,
Mm-hmm.
right? And water, or liquid in general in the tarot, is connected to emotions. So that cup is saying your emotions are running over.
So it
So
could be
it's
good or bad.
showing you, it's literally showing you, here's a cup with your emotions spilling out. That's what that feeling that you have in your heart, which is
Yeah,
also on the cup, is. So the card, the meaning of it is new love, new feeling, new relationship sometimes.
yeah,
And so when you look at that and you think of what it's like when you first, have that head over heels new type of relationship feeling, what do
yeah,
you feel? You feel all full of love and all woo,
yeah,
and overflowing. So that's what I mean when I say you have to look at the symbols in the card, what the actual pictures are showing you, and kind of make a little memory story up in your head about what that cards means. And I guarantee you, if I ask you a year from now what the Ace of Cup means, you're going to remember overflowing.
yeah. That card was easy for me.
Yes,
That's
but every card can be like that if you learn the
mm,
the the trick in it, or what the drawing actually means, rather than just trying to memorize what the
I
book
don't know.
says it means.
I think that's lost cause on me. I'm 60 years old. I haven't remembered any of it. So it's
I
just
think
it
you
didn't
could.
come easy to me. And so when it doesn't come easy to me, then I got zero interest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the other day, and we talked about this before, but the other day, floating by on my Facebook page came the Ouija board table, and a giant conversation about Ouija board ensued. And people talked about it being evil and whatever. And so
People
I
say
would
the
like
same thing
to
about
know.
tarot too sometimes.
I brought that up. So,
Uh-huh.
so do you believe in tarot being harmful to anyone, or someone? Can someone be harmed? Can is be used as a portal to bring in evilness, or any divination tool for that? Not just tarot.
When I was younger, um I had much more reservation about Ouija board in particular,
Yeah.
because of one thing, and that, hang on a second. Hey, hey, relax. Indy. Shh. Well, those are my dogs.
Dogs.
So, the thing about the Ouija board that kind of gave me reservations about it
Yeah.
was the when you set up the board and you um, start to use it. One of the things that you see over and over again in movies and media and whatever is is anyone there? Is usually the first question, and that
Yeah.
is an invitation of sorts for anything out there to answer.
Yeah, just somebody strolling by. Yay! All right.
Yes, yeah. So I think that there is potential in both Ouija and tarot to do the same thing. You know, if you are not conscious about how you're using these tools, yeah, I mean, I could see how it would be a possibility to be, potentially dangerous. That said, if it was as dangerous as everybody claims it to be, we'd have legions of possessed people wandering the streets.
Well,
Because
might. I
everybody
mean,
and their brother did this as children, right?
that might be what they are, though. You don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe it isn't lead poisoning. Maybe it is
Demons.
demons.
Demons all running through them. Oh my
I really
god.
don't think it is all that dangerous either tool, and they are both just tools. They're just
That's what
a
I
way to
said.
communicate. And it really, what is more important is your intent.
Yes.
And as long as you have the intent within you to only accept help in your reading um, from guides that are protective and helpful,
Yeah.
you should be fine. That's not really how I do readings anyway. Some people, that's what they say that they do, is ask for help from spirits or guides or whatever. And if that's how they work and how they use divination, that's cool with me. That's just not
Yeah.
how I do it. um for me, the cards are just a means to connect with the other person. So whoever I'm reading for, um to get them to bring their subconscious guard down so that they can receive what information and messages their own subconscious wants them to hear. And I'm just a mediator for that. That's
So, but
how.
haven't you seen people that are like, we're watching this rave, and this guy was walking around with a watermelon on his head.
Hang on a second. Okay, sorry, I had to lift
It's
Libby.
okay. Don't you think that some people though can stay really closed off, zipped up, and you can't even like get in at all? Because I remember did do a couple of psychic fairs and did some readings for people, and there was a couple of people that when they sat down in front of me, I knew this person was not gonna let me in for anything.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've had many people sit down across from me, and I mean, it's like looking at a brick wall.
Yeah.
They're very closed. They have all defenses up with barbed wire, and they aren't letting you in. But anyone that will sit down across from you and give their consent to a tarot reading, they might have that wall in front of you, but their subconscious really wants to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, but they still look at you and tell you didn't read them properly, or they go back to the person running the psychic fair and ask for their money back and shit and say they didn't connect with you, or ask for a whole nother reader completely. That
Mm-hmm.
shit happens.
It does. And I mean, you know, I can't speak to how other readers do their craft. So, it is possible that if the reader is not very confident in their reading, or if they're distracted by something else.
Mm-hmm.
I have had readings where I was in the middle of the reading, and the person, not this doesn't happen very often, but I do remember one time where the person is just like, no, 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 none of that sounds right. None of that. And like halfway through the reading, we realized I was reading that person's daughter who wasn't even there.
Well,
And
that's
everything that I had said pertained to the daughter. And then the mother that I was reading finally said, well, I'm just very, very worried about her. She's on my mind constantly. And that's all I'm thinking about lately is
oh
this.
yeah,
So I'm like, well, you know, again, it's her subconscious, but her subconscious is consumed with another person as well. So, that does happen where you start reading somebody else. So, you know, the cards are not infallible. No divination tool is, and no reader is. And if the reader tells you that they are, um, I would be highly suspect, because you know I am of the firm belief nobody can really know 100% for sure the future. They can know probabilities,
yeah,
and that's how I'm very honest about that when I sit down with people, that nothing is set. This isn't about telling you your fate or your fortune or what's going to happen for sure.
yeah,
This is about probabilities that could happen depending on, roads that they take, because I just
right.
don't believe our future is written in stone.
No,
Otherwise, what's the point of Devin if it's all going to happen anyway and there's nothing we can do about it?
right.
Why get a reading?
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so how would someone new get started using tarot cards?
um I used to tell people, because I bought into this as well, and you'll hear this advice a lot from other people. Will tell you, just go and look at the decks and look at the pictures and pick the prettiest one. They don't say that. They say pick the one that resonates with you,
Yep.
the one
No
that
one
you're
knows.
drawn to. And that is okay. If you pick your tarot deck that way and you are happy and satisfied and you feel like you're getting the best out of that deck, and that's the way you did it, that is perfectly legitimate and great. If you did that and you don't feel that way, though, I would suggest picking up a tarot deck that is based on the Rider Waite deck. It doesn't matter which one, but just make sure that it's based on the Rider Waite deck. It can be
Yeah.
the Rider Waite deck or the Robin Wood deck, or
And that says tarot, not oracle.
yeah.
Tarot
But
cards.
even like the Light Seers deck, that is an actual tarot deck, because it
Yeah.
does have all the traditional cards like the Star and the Chariot and the Sun and the Lovers and all of those traditional cards, and it's built with suits. It's still not based on a Rider Waite deck. The pictures are too different. They're not, the
Yeah.
artwork is not, it doesn't have all the symbolism in it.
No, no,
Okay.
because the Nine of Cups, it should be the fat, dumb, and happy guy.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's not.
Right. So again, if you're brand new and want to learn tarot and you picked up a deck like the Light Seers deck that is very different artwork, and it works for you and you love it and you get it and you're having no trouble with, reading the cards and knowing what they mean, fantastic. Stick with it. You do you, boo, as the kids say. But if you did that, if you picked out a deck and you're not really resonating with it, and you don't, you feel stuck, or you feel like you can't get any type of good connection with it, or whatever reasons, or you're just not going deep enough with it, I
Right.
suggest getting some deck that is based on the Rider Waite deck, and then learning the symbols in the cards, not just trying to memorize the meanings there. And
Yep.
you know, I'll just give the best advice I can, which is buy the Robin Wood book. Even if you don't have that deck, which I would recommend if you really want to learn, get that deck and get that book. But even if you have the Rider Waite cards, get that book written by Robin Wood on the symbolism, and then
Because
sit down
the
with it.
Rider Waite deck is really old.
It is. It is.
So, and the colors in it are pretty basic. It's the deck
Yeah.
that's behind us in the background. So
Hmm.
the colors are basic. And even in the Robin Wood deck, the colors are more vibrant than what's in that Rider Waite deck.
Yes.
I didn't know about the colors until I went to your class.
Yeah. So that's my suggestion for anybody that wants to actually, learn how to read the cards without having to reference anything else. And then once you have that deck and have read that book and kind of are getting the symbolism, then it just becomes practice, practice, practice.
Yep.
You can you can pull a daily card, or even do a daily reading, even if the reading isn't really for you or anybody else. If you're just practicing putting the cards down in a layout and then speaking out loud, even if you're alone in a room, talk. Get used to looking at the card, picking out the symbols, and then speaking what you see, what you feel about that card.
So when you
That's
say you put them out in a layout, a spread, do you
uh-huh.
have to do the spreads that they show you in the books and the diagrams, or can you put them out any way you want to?
I would do both. The spreads that they give you in books are usually based on somebody else's experimentation of what has worked, and a lot of them are really good. And if you're not really creative, or if you're just very uncertain about what to do or how to do it, those are a really good starting point.
I can never remember how the cards are supposed to go down. I know the first one is the person, and I know that second one is the bridge. But after that, I'm fucked.
Well, I tend to do a Celtic cross, what they call a Celtic cross
That's the one I can't
spread,
remember.
but I kind of assign my own meaning to the positions. And some of them relate, some of them are, based on what the traditional position means, but like a lot of times you'll see, okay, you put one card down in the center and then you lay a cross card on top. And that's what
Right.
Michelle was just saying is, the center card is the person getting the reading. The next card on top of that is the cross or the bridge. So it can either mean what hinders you or gets in your way, and you can remember that because the card is literally on top of the other card, so it's in the way of the other card. And then, so a lot of books will tell you, well, the card underneath that is the root. Well, what does that mean, the root?
Where it all stems from.
Yeah, so that's kind of another little memory trick. I think of it like, oh, okay, this is where everything else is coming from. So it's an important card because it tells me, if the person's first card is the Ace of Cups, for example, that might mean a new relationship. But if the card underneath of it is the devil, if this is where it's all coming from, it might be that that new relationship is stemming from breaking free from an old relationship, because that's the devil is about being, stuck.
Yep.
So, you try to find the correlation. And then the card on the left is the past, and the card on the right is the future. And I just remember that because you're reading the cards clockwise. So you got the center, the cross card, and then you go underneath, and then you go to the past and around this way, right? So the top card, or the crown card, has, I don't even remember actually.
So you read the past and the present, then the crown card?
Yes. Or in any order I really want, but I just remember it goes around clockwise like a clock, so that I know that the card on the left of the person is the past, and the card on the right, or towards the rod, the cards that go up like this, is the future. And I have discarded whatever the crown card meant originally. I couldn't tell you what it means at this point, because I always read that card as what helps this person. If the root card is, if the root card is where everything is coming from, and you got the past and the future fighting for what's going on, what helps this person? What gets this person from the past to the future? So,
and then what about the side?
When I go up the side, the base card, the first card at the bottom of the rod, that's where the person is at emotionally. So it's what they're actually thinking and feeling about this whole situation that is going on in the cross part. And the next card up, so if the first card is me, the next card is you, or the people around you. Mm-hmm. So the first card in the bottom of the rod is what the person getting the reading is feeling about the situation, what they think of the situation. And the next card up is what everybody else around them is thinking and feeling about the situation. Or traditionally, it's outside influences.
Yeah.
So it's things that you might not be able to control or be in control of. And then the third card is hopes and fears. What do we hope is or fear is going to happen in this situation? And then the last card is the outcome. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't remember any of that tomorrow, but that was good.
I like doing, I will do that for somebody that's coming to me for a reading, because it really gives a good, solid foundation for what's going on. But if I just need something that's really straightforward, I'll do 3 or 4 cards, and that's it, because that tends to be more concise, and gets to the point, basically. So a really good one is, what do I need to know? What do I need to do? How long is this going to take? And what's going to be the outcome? 1, 2, 3, 4, right across.
Yeah.
Or you can do 3, past, present, future.
Yeah.
Or what I need to know, what I need to do, and what will be the outcome, if you don't care about how long it's going to take.
Yeah. I think you should care about how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
So what if you don't want to do any of that stuff? You don't want to read for yourself, and you don't want to buy any cards, and you decide you go to see a reader. Now there's all these people that you found around you, and they all charge different prices. What is a fair price, or should anybody even charge? Is that ethical? What do you feel about that?
I think that a person can charge whatever they want to charge, and what they should charge is whatever anybody's willing to pay for them. It's I don't really think ethics come into it as much as supply and demand. If you're a really new reader and aren't very confident yet in your readings, um, charging, a couple $100 for a reading is probably going to not work well for you because you're still learning.
Yeah.
If you've been doing it for a very long time and you actually, help the people that you're reading for in some way to get through a block or figure out a situation, help them figure out a situation that they really are struggling with. It's really kind of, um, I just have to say it's what the person is willing to pay. I could probably charge a lot more for my readings than I actually do.
I know you could.
But I don't, it's not how I make my living. So I don't need to charge that much.
Yeah.
If it was the only way that I was making a living and I had to keep a store open based on that, or in some other way, if there was other
Your mortgage
extenuating,
and car payment with it.
yeah, if I had to pay all that stuff and I am marketing my skill, all these years of practice and learning that I have put into, doing this, it is worth something. And
It is worth something.
it should be, paid for accordingly. And at the same time, there are people that have very limited income and struggle just as hard. So
Yep.
I really think compassion can play a part in that as well. I've heard some people say that, talk about energy exchange. I'm putting my energy into this for you. And so there has to be some sort of exchange for it to work.
Whatever.
I don't know that that is really true so much because my readings work. My ability to connect with your subconscious has nothing to do with what I'm getting from you in return. It has to do with how willing you are to lower your guard enough for me to connect with your subconscious and tell you what I think is going on in that head of yours. So I don't really know that that has a lot of merit. Um, all of that kind of just to say, if you feel like the person that is doing your reading is ripping you off, then just don't go to that reader.
Probably not.
If the choice is, if the price is too high for you to pay for that reading, then go to a different reader. And it's just like anything else. If I can't afford that car, then I can't, then I'm not going to buy that car.
Right.
So same thing with reading is, if the price seems too high to you, then either save up for it if that's what you really, really want, or find somebody that charges less.
Yep. So, I've had, when I did do some readings for people for a while there, I was trying to do readings, and I've had other readers tell me that I undercut everyone by the price I charged, and I was making everybody look bad. That probably didn't help me at all with me wanting or liking to do the thing that I was doing. But anyway, that's stupid to me. I think that's dumb. I think that whatever you want to charge, if you want to give the shit away, you should be able to do it.
Yeah, and it's not a competition.
No.
If your price for a reading is $30 and the person sitting next to you, if their price is $60, and I said to myself, I'm gonna pay more because I think that's a better reader, or I'm gonna get more. That's subjective.
Yeah.
You can't say, oh, all readings should be this price or that price, because there's a vast difference between somebody that has just picked up the cards and really doesn't feel like, they know what they're doing yet, and somebody that's been reading for a very long time and knows what they're, knows all what they're doing.
I've had cold readings at festivals where somebody just walked up to me, grabbed my hand, and told me everything that was going on in my life and what I needed to do about it. And then, boom, away they went and didn't ask for a fucking thing from me.
Yep. And there are people out there like that have, this just innate ability in them. And who is anybody else to tell them what, if anything, they should charge for that ability? That's nobody else's business. Since we are talking about that, though, the one thing that I try to educate people on whenever they come to me, either for a class or for a reading, that I try to say to all of my, new people that have never had a reading from me before, is if you go to readers of any sort, and the first thing, or even in the middle of the reading or at the end of the reading, if they tell you anything like, you have a curse upon you, there is a dark energy around you, terrible things are about to happen, you are in danger, girl, you are in
danger.
You are in danger.
$29.95 to get rid of this curse.
If they say that, get up and leave.
Yep.
Because that is not somebody that has your best interests at heart. That is somebody that wants you to pay for them to fix your problems. And tarot is not about that.
No. So if you are going to get a reading, should it be done in a shop? Where can it be done at?
That's the most weirdest question.
Do you have to go to a store to get it right?
No. Can it be done if you don't know anybody that, what?
Could they do it right here, like what we're doing right now?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I already explained that how I feel about what I'm doing when I do a reading is I'm connecting with your subconscious. You think the subconscious cares that I'm here and you're however many miles away there?
No.
The subconscious doesn't know time or distance or spatial relation, anything like that. The subconscious doesn't work like that. So you can get a reading online, you can get a reading at a store, you can get a reading in somebody's living room, outside if you like being outside for whatever reason. At a festival.
Or outside. She's not going to do that.
Yeah, no. I have done one reading for somebody just because we didn't have anywhere else to go at a beach, on a picnic table at a beach. And it was nice, except the wind kept wanting to blow everything away. So I'm not a big fan of doing readings outside.
You get yourself one of those D&D board, like the board for the
the windscreen.
Yeah, to keep it from happening.
Yeah. So yeah, you could do a reading anywhere. It doesn't matter.
And then besides divination, what else can you use tarot cards for? Peanut gallery over here said poker.
That would be an interesting game.
Yes, it would.
You'd have to figure out the major cards.
See, the reason why I ask that is because I know people that use those as a mediumship tool.
I mean, if it works for them. I have never used them like that, and I have kind of opinions about mediumship and talking to the dead. So
that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's a whole another conversation.
You can do yes and no questions. Like if you have a quick yes or no question, as long as you're specific, you can use it for that. It doesn't have to be a full-blown reading.
Yeah, and yeah, you can use, but that's still using that for divination.
Yeah.
Um, I've used cards in spell work because
Yep. That's
the cards have symbols and they have meaning. So if I need something to represent something in a spell, like if I wanted to do protection on somebody or something, I might use the knights. The knights
yeah.
are, because the knights are movement in the tarot, but they're knights.
Yeah.
That's what they kind of do is
Yeah.
protect. So, or if I need, a card to represent somebody that the spell is for, I might pick one of the court cards to represent them, and just put it on my altar and work the spell around it. So
Yeah.
tarot cards work beautifully for spell work. I had a deck that I lost some cards to, and I'm not really sure exactly how that happened. I was going through them and I noticed I'm missing some cards out of this deck. So I decided, well, I can't use this deck anymore for readings because I
Oh,
didn't
so
feel right about that. So instead, I made, when I was doing a vision board, I used the tarot cards out of that deck so that I cut certain things out of the tarot card to paste them on the
yeah.
vision board or just use the whole card. So that's another thing. And you can also do meditation with
Yeah.
tarot or reflection. If you decide to do it, a lot of people, such as yourself, choose to do a daily tarot card. And
Yep.
it's sort of divination in that you can look at it as, okay, this is what my day ahead is going to be like. But you can also just pull a daily tarot card to be like, this is what I need to reflect on or meditate on today.
Yep.
If I pull the star, for example, I might want to meditate on how can I how can I be more in the limelight, or how can I let my light shine brighter.
Yeah.
So yeah, tarot's good for lots of stuff.
So, and then the last thing I wanted to talk about has nothing to do with tarot and everything to do with this full moon in Pisces and all these planets in retrograde.
Yes, that was silly.
What's going to happen this weekend? When is the full moon?
Full moon is Saturday, early in the morning on Saturday. So if you're going to do any work with the moon, you could do it either Friday night, early Saturday morning, or Saturday night. The full moon energy still will be going strong. But yeah, there's a full moon in Pisces and a whole bunch of planets going to be in retrograde this weekend.
So Pisces
So
is a water sign. It took the Aquarius person to dump all of the emotion it collected from the other
yeah,
signs. The Pisces
yeah.
person,
The
which is
Aquarius stands at the end of the zodiac. The only other sign behind the Aquarius is Pisces. So all the emotions from Aries through Virgo, all the way through Capricorn, all the way down the zodiac is collected in Aquarius's little jug. And then they take that little jug of emotional water and they dump it all on poor Pisces, who's the last
yep.
in line.
And the moon
So,
is water energy. So
yes.
if you cry a lot this weekend, now you'll know why.
Yeah.
If you're emotional this weekend, you'll know why. And here
I
where we live in Florida, it's going to be raining all weekend. So there's that.
Yeah. And Pisces is the spiritual father of the zodiac. They're spiritual and intuitive and very
Deep.
perceptive. So expect all of that kind of energy you know, I read something somewhere that said this Pisces moon is going to be like an acid trip. So fun.
Yes.
What?
Friday.
Friday?
Mm-hmm.
We could do
Yeah.
that.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be in the house doing that.
We don't have to be in the house.
Where are we going to be? Outside in the rain?
Go to the beach.
In the rain?
Uh,
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
So yeah, lots of crazy kind of emotional, and just pay attention to your intuition this weekend. If nothing
Okay.
else, just pay attention. If you got a feeling about something, I should do this or I shouldn't do that. For all the holies, listen to that damn voice and do what it says. Don't just brush it off and ignore it.
Exactly. Well, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got too.
All right, we did a fucking 55 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep, and nobody even popped in.
Uh,
I would have liked if somebody would to see how the chat worked.
Did you check to see if we were actually on Facebook?
We did. We were.
Okay.
I could still look right now. I didn't even turn it off yet.
Well, hopefully, when it gets posted out there, people can check it out too. So
yeah, well, I'm gonna throw it out onto yeah. Oh, and the captions. I thought it was going to be a banner, and so now it's just like everything we're saying is typed in the bottom of the box, but it's still going on.
Okay.
All right.
So this was fun.
It was. I'm going to broadcast though right now, so that we don't have to keep like talking to them.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
See you guys. Bye. But we can stay.